Well, hello Raiders, and welcome to my first watch of the first preview of gameplay and puzzles of Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis that is coming out in 2027. I'm very much excited about this. I know I'm a little bit late to the game, I know that, but I really wanted to wait until I had an opportunity to record myself to watch this for the first time and give my thoughts and, do a deep dive into this first preview of the gameplay and more. So, without further ado, I really don't want to turn these intros too long because I tend to talk too much. Let's watch this together. And if you're watching this for the first time, welcome. Let's watch it together. And I will pause whenever I want to say something important, okay? So, let's start.
Gotta say,
I hope you don't hear
your
it
good side.
through the mic.
You know what Tomb Raider is. Chances are you've played
Probably
one of
do.
Lara Croft's many adventures, or at least one of the cinematic action adventures that her original 1996 expedition inspired, whether that be the Uncharted, Horizon, or Star Wars Jedi series. But now it's time to go all the way back as Legacy of Atlantis takes us full circle in a reimagining of the story that kick-started an entire genre.
It's taking us full circle. Like, a lot of people are super excited about this. A lot of people are also in between, and some people are skeptical. I understand both sides, but I think we'll talk about it later.
We recently had the opportunity to play through its short water puzzle, cartwheel and dinosaur shootout filled demo, which certainly felt familiar, albeit with a gorgeous new lick of paint and more modern tweaks sprinkled in.
What is this that we have here? All right, so Lara is using some sort of mechanism. Okay, so look at this. First of all,
Whale and dinosaur shootout filled demo, which
we
certainly
have the
felt
duels
familiar,
back. This is wonderful. She's shooting her duels
albeit
perfect.
with a
Okay.
gorgeous new lick of paint and more modern tweaks.
Give me a lot of anniversary vibes. Now this, okay, so this, it's something that a lot of people were wondering. Will the game be easy? Will the game not be easy? Will it be challenging, not challenging? I'm assuming this device is to help the players to figure out their environment. I hope this is optional because I don't want the game to tell me what to do at all times. I really want to figure out things myself. And again, I'm just assuming it. Maybe they will speak about it later.
Sprinkled in.
This mechanism looks like the waterfall regulator, but clearly it's not working.
It was fun,
yeah,
and we were left
there we go.
intrigued to see how deep this merging of an old story told using a new box of tricks will go when the
Look at
full
the
game
X.
releases next February. 30 years is a
Alright.
long time, especially in the rapidly evolving
Smooth
world of
animation
video
of the
games, and if
shimming.
you've picked up a controller and attempted to play the original Tomb Raider recently, nothing emphasises that like how Lara Croft controls. Stiff and heavy, with your thumbs the victim of her sluggish turning circle, Lara's maneuverability resembles that of a transatlantic ocean liner more than an enterprising Atlantis explorer. Thankfully, this
What? Alright, look, I think the classic games are really fluid. With the remasters now, you have the modern controls and the tank controls. And I've seen actually firsthand that some people actually don't like the tank controls. They feel it's it's not easy to get the hang of it. But I completely disagree with that. And I think the first games or the classic games were absolutely brilliant in its own way. And the way that Lara moves, it's so fluid. I don't know what he's talking about, but I don't agree with his take here on the classics at all. Let's see what else he has to say.
remake, co-developed by the series' long-term custodian Crystal Dynamics and newcomer Flying Wild Hog, fixes this. This Lara is light on her feet, with a floaty jump more reminiscent of Princess Peach than Nathan Drake. It takes a little getting used
Beautiful swan dive there. The swan dive is back. Awesome. This is giving me a lot of Lao vibes. I've already said this on the previous video. Her movements. This is completely Legend Anniversary and Underworld vibes. From now, so far I have not seen a single Survivor action-based footage for now.
to at first, especially if you've become accustomed to the adhesive-fingered approach that Naughty Dog injected into the action-adventure game, which was the foundation for Tomb Raider's most recent Survivor trilogy.
Stunning. We made it, Dad.
This Lara still clings on to some of the old-school movement feel of the
This is so
PS1
beautiful.
original, something
Oh
that
my God.
admittedly proved a bit of a struggle during the demo's early moments, but in time we found this freer-feeling Lara enjoyable to control,
Oh
even
my
if
God,
her
I love
jumps
this.
did make us wonder if the Lost Valley in Peru had become some sort of zero-gravity zone. Ultimately, its more old-school influenced approach helps build into the idea that you're truly exploring an environment rather than clambering along a set path. The small area of jungle we were dropped into contained one of the classic cog.
Okay, so here it is, the grapple hook. She's actually using the grapple
path.
hook here.
The small area of jungle we
Oh, you can see here actually. I don't know if it's visible in the video. In the video, but there's like a little mechanism in Lara's left hand, and it seems that's, you know, she
Were
does a
dropped into
Spider-Man
contained
move,
one
and
of the
there it is.
classic-
We have the grappling hook.
cog and water puzzles that Lara has worked her way through dozens of times over the years. Using a full exploration suite of climbing, swimming and grappling around a miniature sandbox, we went in search of the missing machine components that would unlock the giant
The water
gate
looks
blocking
beautiful.
Lara's progress. Helpful here was the brand new grapple gadget that can be fired out of Lara's wrist, Spider-Man style. These are age-old puzzles
All right, so I haven't seen this before, I swear to you. So this Spider-Man stuff, it was completely out of the blue, okay? I promise this is the first watch.
design-wise, but made modern by smart additions like this grapple. Tweaks such as these really display legacy of Atlantis' desire to be more than just a remake, borrowing from the likes of Crystal Dynamics' more recent
Okay, this actually looks quite new. It does not look familiar in either the classic, neither the Tomb Raider
more
Anniversary.
than just
Let's
a
see.
remake, borrowing
Right here, where she's using, I'm assuming, right, some sort of weights to turn this device
from the
around.
likes of Crystal
to
Dynamics'
maybe make the water
desire
flow,
to be
right?
more
So here's
than
the
just a
cogs.
remake,
Obviously,
borrowing
we
from
already know what puzzle this is. This is in the Lost Valley, you know, where you need to find the 3 cogs. At least that's 3 cogs in the classic. Forgotten about Anniversary, actually. I think you actually need to go around and do some sort of thing with 3 cogs as well. So maybe they haven't changed that, but this I'm not sure what this can be.
likes of Crystal
Intriguing
Dynamics'
though, very intriguing.
more recent trilogy and how it approaches Lara's toolkit.
Decoration or spare part?
A further addition is the number of collectibles littered throughout the world and the ability to survey the environment in search of the secrets using Lara's scanner.
Okay, so, yeah, look, I'm always muting, sorry, because I really think you can hear the trailer through my microphone. So this is like, okay, it's not really to, according to what he said, actually, let's listen to what he said again.
World and the ability to survey the environment in search of the secrets using Lara's scanner. From what we can tell, Legacy of Atlantis is still a largely
All right, so he's saying that we can scan for secrets, and at the beginning of the video, actually, she was speaking about this, you know, what this can represent or what this is doing to the environment. I don't know if that's really a secret. That's more like a hint to me, but again, if this is optional, I'm all fine with it. I just don't want the game to continuously tell us what to do. I want challenge. Even though I understand that from a developer's perspective, okay, you don't want players to be frustrated, so you need to give them some kind of tools for them to move forward, right? But, you know, nowadays it's just so easy to figure out things, but nonetheless, I can't be too picky. I'm just hoping for a challenge. I am really hoping for a challenge, and if this device just tells you about the surroundings, the secrets, I'm fine with that. I just don't want Lara to keep giving us hints all the time. That's really it.
using Lara's scanner. From what we can tell, Legacy of Atlantis is still a largely linear adventure, but venturing off the main path will reward you with all sorts of treasure.
Alright, so this is actually giving me a little bit of survival trilogy concept. So, I don't know where I've read this or heard about it, but some people thought that Legacy of Atlantis would be more like an RPG approach, like more of an open world. But he's saying that the storyline, at least it looks like it from the demo, very linear. However, if you just prefer to explore around, you might find new things. And Lara here is actually using the device again to scan the wall and probably, you know, wonder about it, what it actually means or whatever. Oh, it's actually showing the 3 cogs, is it not? Here on this wallpaper. It looks like it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of survival feeling here, like the survival trilogy feeling, where if you just want to deviate from the main path, you will be rewarded with lots of collectibles. So I guess they are going for that approach, which I absolutely love, by the way, because I love to explore every single corner of the game and find every collectible that is possible, or every challenge.
Whether they be documents that build out the lore of an ancient civilization, or objects that grant Lara extra skill points. Unfortunately, the skill...
Okay, skill points, there we go. So this is another thing from the survival trilogy. Also, I've heard about this.
Or objects that grant Lara extra skill points. Unfortunately, the skill tree menu was locked off to us in the demo, so we can't tell exactly how we'll be able to tweak her abilities, but its mere existence is again a sign of newfound depth. And that all makes sense, because although Legacy of Atlantis is a retelling of the British adventurer's first story, it's actually part of the same universe now as the prequel trilogy that ran between 2013 and 2018.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me now.
This
No, it does not make sense to me. It makes sense in a gameplay perspective and calling for audience to actually purchase your game. Skill points are, you know, I imagine that's really what goes on games right now. I don't know. I'm not really a gamer at this time and age. I don't have the time for that, unfortunately. But you know, yes, in the trilogy games, we did have skill points. We did not have skill points and up until Underworld, and after that we had some, you know, some choices in the spin-off. So Guardian of Light and Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, you could select which artifacts you wanted to equip in Lara's arsenal to give her certain abilities. So, I don't know, I don't really remember, but more defense or more power, weapon damage, or something like that. So, sort of a skill point, but not really, because once you use the skill points in the survival trilogy, that's it, they're gone. If you use those points on that ability tree, then you cannot take them back. If you want to take them back, you would have to replay the section, I believe.
Isn't her first rodeo, and she boasts the skills to show for it. This is best displayed in combat, of which we got a tiny taste after stepping through the huge doorway opened up by the aforementioned cog-finding problem solving. It was on the other side that we were welcomed by a gang of hungry velociraptors, a far more vicious resident of Peru than Paddington Bear. That's probably for the best though, because the thought of unleashing multiple rounds
Okay, so
Paddington
right
Bear,
here,
hungry velociraptors,
okay, so right
a
here
far
we
more
see
vicious
her use
resident
the
of Peru.
axe. This is probably some quick time event where you need to press a button multiple times, although I don't see any button on the
Than
screen.
Paddington Bear.
It looks
That's
kind
probably
of cool though. Like, what the hell, Lara? You're
a far
very
more
strong.
vicious resident of Peru than Paddington Bear.
Damn.
That's probably for
Okay.
the best though, because the thought of unleashing multiple rounds into one of Britain's most adorable imports would have probably led to a lot of crying. Thankfully then, it was the job of one of Britain's most deadly exports to take on these prehistoric menaces instead, dodging, cartwheeling and backflipping out of the way of their deadly lunges.
Okay, here we go. So we actually have like slow motion. I've actually seen this. I'm not sure where I've seen this, but so in Loud Trilogy, you could actually do this as well. It differs a little bit from game to game. So from Legend, Anniversary, Underworld, they do it differently. Each game does it differently. However, you know, you could shoot the enemies and you could jump into them and then do a slow motion. So this is absolutely Lao. So I see at a moment, right, I see way more Lao plus survival trilogy than the actual classic games, which is, again, understandable. It's very hard to completely copy pasta the mechanics from classic to the more innovative and more new type of gameplay that we have nowadays. It's just very hard to completely do one per one. But, you know, we can dream. At least what I really think they could implement from the classics, it's the challenge. It's the idea or the feeling that you're actually alone in that area and you need to figure stuff out. You don't have gadgets. You don't have anyone to tell you what to do. You're alone and you need to figure it out. I hope that we have at some point that challenge, but I've already seen that she has quite a fancy gadget to at least tell her about the surroundings, which is okay, I guess it's their approach to it.
Pistols that handily come complete with unlimited ammo. The shooting felt snappy and responsive.
Okay, so another thing, the unlimited ammo. I'm not sure about this. I'm a little bit divided on this, so you let me know what you think about it. But I think unlimited ammo might not be the greatest decision that they decided to make. I think having limited ammo, even for the duels, makes for a more challenging gameplay because you actually need to be wary of how many rounds you're shooting. And maybe according to the difficulty, you would have to be even more aware of it. Obviously, Lara always has to have a way of defending herself or attacking the enemies, and I think, you know, the axe or even hand-to-hand combat like Angel of Darkness could be a good way to help you out in case you would run out of ammo. I think that would be a better approach, but, you know, infinite ammo, that's definitely classic style. And Lao. Yeah, okay, and Lao. So, again, classic does not really, is not really represented yet, truly.
But really came alive once another new skill up Lara's non-existent sleeves was introduced, the focus system. Look, we don't have that much footage, so I'm just going to show you all that again, right? Performing well-timed acrobatics during combat and evading enemies at the right time builds up the focus meter, filling up charges that can be used with a quick press of the right bumper. Upon doing so, she stylishly spins into the air and enters bullet time, allowing you to unload full magazines into enemies as they practically freeze in the line of fire. It's a great addition to the action, further bringing these classic fights into the modern age while giving Lara a welcome edge in encounters. We're intrigued to see if more
Right, so we've had that, like I've said before, this is not new, unless they will do it differently, and he spoke about you actually can unload a whole magazine into the enemies. I don't really remember, because I mean, again, I played the Lao trilogy like 10 years ago, but you did have the slow motion tactic, and I remember this from Underworld. You would actually have to fill up a meter in order to use it, and it could help you out immensely in situations where the number of enemies would overwhelm you. So this is not new. This is not new. This is existed before, but I'm glad it's back. This is a good throwback.
Powerful uses of these focus changes await deeper in the game, perhaps where they could be used in a similar way to how Sucker Punch's Ghost series grants you devastating attacks and abilities at the cost of using more than one circle of energy. Before we could experiment too much with Tomb Raider's own take on gun fu, a rude interruption was made as one of the series' most iconic moments took over the scene. Into the arena.
Right, so obviously we have the T-Rex scene, which I'm thinking it's a quick time event in the new game.
Stepped a towering T-Rex, which made both Lara and her previous foes flee the scene with haste. We're having to use footage from Anniversary to illustrate this because we weren't given B-roll of the new T-Rex segment, but we can say the sequence has undergone a complete facelift, translating the primitive capabilities of the original PlayStation into something entirely entirely more
You know what? This is actually amazing to see the 3 generations of Lara, or actually, I mean 3 because we don't have any survival Lara here with the T-Rex. Although you can perhaps make the argument that this Lara is survival Lara, although I don't really agree. But I really liked this part of the video where we see Anniversary followed up with Legacy of Atlantis and then the classic. How much this evolved. Even though the Tomb Raider Anniversary clip here is very low quality, yeah, it's amazing to see how much the game has, the franchise has evolved. It's beautiful, actually. Look at it.
Arena stepped a towering T-Rex, which made both Lara and her previous foes flee the scene with haste. We're having to use footage from Anniversary to illustrate this because we weren't given B-roll of the new T-Rex segment, but we can say the sequence has undergone a complete facelift, translating the primitive capabilities of the original PlayStation into something
Alright, video idea. I will definitely do a comparison between the 3 games once Legacy is out. Like, key scenes. Absolutely, I will do it.
Cinematic. Rather than a simple shooting affair, the scene now begins with a playable chase down a treacherous jungle pathway as Lara slides, swings, and clambers to escape its sharp-toothed maw. There's a great sense of peril in the cinematography and effective use of slow motion as Lara slides between the dinosaur's legs, mirrored by a great sense of muddled bewilderment and desperation in the voice of Alex Wilton Reagan, the latest actor to pick up the dual pistols.
She's
and partway
wonderful,
through this attempted escape is where our time with Legacy of Atlantis ended, as Lara plunged into a river, her rope bridge escape route destroyed by the T-Rex.
Ah, this is so beautiful.
This cliffhanger concluded a short but varied look at what this latest reboot of Tomb Raider has to offer, and so far it feels like all the necessary ingredients are there. At its core, the design attempts to blend...
I really do agree with this. I do think all of the core ingredients that this needs to be successful are there. I hope that the survival fans, that the new fans that came from the survival trilogy, will also have something that they will enjoy, because whether we like it or not, classic people, classic raiders, the survival trilogy did bring new fans that never played the previous games before. Even though people were asking and begging, and I was one of them, and I still am, to bring classic Lara Croft back, which they did. I hope that the people from the survival trilogy actually have something to look forward to as well. I know this is not the same Lara. I don't even know if she will be wielding a bow. That would actually be some sort of nice throwback to the survival. She started to wear a bow. That would be interesting. To use a bow in the survival trilogy. So that could be some interesting throwback to the survival trilogy, and the new fans that came from that era could also have something to look forward to. But again, I'm just speculating and thinking about stuff. Maybe that's not even necessary. For me, as someone that's been playing Tomb Raider and watching and seeing people playing Tomb Raider since I can pretty much remember, right, since the first game came out, this is exciting for me. I love this game. This is everything that I've been asking for ever since the reboots came, right? Because the reboot completely changed the games and Lara itself.
And the classic feel of Lara Croft's movement with a more modern approach to combat and exploration.
This figure they're worshipping, could it be Qualopec?
What more could you
Qualopec!
ask for? We're looking forward to see how all that comes together when Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis arrives on February 12th, 2027 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. You could play it in the Peruvian jungles, imagine that.
So this
for
is
more on Tomb Raider, why...
Okay, this was quite the interesting preview. Now, I don't know if there's actually a demo gameplay. You know what? I'll actually go... okay, so it seems that that video that we saw from... what was it? IGN, I think. It seems that the video we just saw, it's pretty much the official gameplay reveal, and there's nothing else to it, so this is it. I think this was good. I'm really happy that they gave us a first preview. I'm hoping to see a little bit more as the year goes around, because the game was postponed. Actually, let me take off this scene. The game was postponed to 2027, so that's still quite far off. And until then, I know people will be like, oh, please give us some of that juicy stuff that we want. Give us some of that juicy thing. People want to be excited until then, and I think this is a good approach to keep people engaged and talking about Tomb Raider. So, you know, fingers crossed to more leaks and footage as the year goes by. Obviously, not too much spoilers, por favor. I really don't want that. I honestly, I don't have anything else to say. I think I've said everything that I've wanted. Again, there's a little bit of fear from some people that this game will be easy. Right now it's just speculations. We can't really come into a conclusion of what this game will be. We can talk about it, we can discuss it, but coming to conclusions is still too early to tell. Now, she does have that device in her hand that perhaps assists her a little bit too much. I hope not. I hope it's just, you know, lore and secret related and not really, you know, directly impacts the official linear path. Does that even make sense? I hope it does. I hope the device that Lara has on hand, you know, story short, I just hope that it's not the button that we have in Survival Trilogy where you press it and boom, all of a sudden everything that's interactable is highlighted. I really don't want that. I want you to be able to explore as much as you can, and for example, in Shadow, I believe, I'm not sure, I don't remember, but in Shadow, you could actually turn it off in the highest difficulty. So I'm assuming and hoping that they will also bring that into this game, so we can actually have a choice. Do we want easy or do we want hard, where you actually need to, you know, look at the environment and figure out yourself? I hope it's the latter. I hope we will have the latter, where you can actually make the choice. And, you know, if you want, you go for the highest difficulty, and if you don't want, you just play through the game. That way, I think they can please almost everyone. And I think this is my take. I really don't want to say much more about it, because again, it's just speculation. Nothing is a guarantee. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching this with me. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to this. I'm thinking of doing this way more, this type of videos. It's more interactable. Again, I also have a Discord channel, and if you want to come have a chat about Tomb Raider and Lara Croft, feel free to join. The community is still very small, but it's active. We talk about Lara Croft and Tomb Raider almost every day, so I'll leave the link down below so you can access it if you want. And if for some reason the link is not available, just let me know and I will provide you with a new link. So nonetheless, this is it. This was my watch of the first preview of Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. If you're interested in more Tomb Raider content, please consider subscribing to this channel. I would be very much appreciated if you would. For now, it's kind of hard to be fully active and release a video every 3 days or so, but I'm trying to release at least once per week. At least. Okay, lads and lasses, I hope you have an amazing day, rest of the day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!